Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana. Let's get into this. So, hi guys, welcome. If this is your first time tuning in, hello, thank you, welcome. Please get on in here and follow us on YouTube at Inappropriate Radio TV. Alright, no periodic table, no alien talk tonight. However, you already know the creator came through with a message. Okay, so guys, I didn't know if the creator wanted me to do this topic until he pressed on me at least 2 times about it. Okay, and here we are. You can't force yourself on God. I know it sounds strange, and it even sounds contradictory to what we've learned about God. But God has his own timing, okay? We all have our own gifts. We all have our own journeys, right? And there are actually some people who have gifts, but they're not anointed. There are some people who have gifts, they're not coveted, right? What do I mean by that? The creator didn't ask them to use their gifts for a specific and a particular reason and season, okay? And this is kind of how you force your way into God's lap, right? God has a space and a place for all of us, okay? That's true. However, we talked about in the past about how there are cycles. We go through these different life cycles, and in every cycle, everyone is assigned a time, okay? So there's going to be a season or a cycle for you to learn yourself through your spiritual gifts. There's going to be a cycle and a season for you to learn the actual spiritual gifts. And then there's going to be a cycle when God wants you to use those gifts to be of service to others. None of these seasons and cycles are connected or close, okay? They're portals that have open and closing times that you don't get to choose. And you don't want to move too fast and start, picking up things that the creator is not telling you to pick up prematurely, right? Because there's a such thing as doing the right thing before you should do it. There's a such thing as doing the right thing with the right people at the right time, right? Just like there's a such thing as doing the wrong thing at the wrong time with the wrong people, the wrong place. There's a such thing as doing the right thing at the wrong time, okay? God has your gifts connected to the birth and death of people, of places, and ideas, and events. And you have to know how to separate these portals. You have to understand that God is going to give you the right amount of everything. It is up to you to be in a space where you are good, okay? And I know, like I said, this sounds crazy. This is basically comparable to you answering the call, okay? You don't get the call before you're ready, okay? You get the call when God is ready for you to answer it. This is why we have stages, phases, seasons, cycles. Because not everyone is going to be called on in this lifetime. Sometimes God is going to take you through a few life cycles before he decides to use you in any significant way. And this is for anyone, right? It's not for like one person in particular, like, hey, God is only going to use you in 2020. Like, no, it's for everyone. The thing is, there are waves and cycles, and we talked about these waves and cycles in the ethers, in the spiritual realm, And then even in the physical realm, you have to understand that you were placed at a particular location for a particular time. God didn't put you in New Jersey in the 1930s. He put you in New Jersey in the 1970s or the 80s or 2003 or, right? He didn't place you on a different timeline in the right dimension. No, he knew what he was doing. And he needs you to go through a certain amount of things before you can be able to testify. He needs you to have worked your way up into a certain level of spirituality, okay? Into a certain level of understanding, because that's all spirituality is, right? Understanding your spirit as it relates to other spirits in unknown places and facets. None of this, by the way, is connected to you on a different timeline. I think that's important because we know that our timelines are connected. No. The thing here is that your answering the call here is connected to you here in this timeline, okay? You do owe it to yourself to have a full understanding of when, right? A lot of the times people, they get the call, but they don't answer. This is where the delay starts. This is where the confusion starts. This is where you and everyone connected to you starts to miss blessings. And this is like aside from magic and manipulation and witchcraft with evil eyes and people doing things, to turn things in their favor. This is just another, layer and a cherry on top with a little whipped cream. You yourself, outside of anyone spiritually manipulating or abusing you, is totally different from, you having to do things. We all have to endure what makes a spiritual warrior. Whatever God is going to use you for, you have to be in acceptance of that. You don't even get to make it up. And, a lot of people say, hey, I chose this. I chose my family. I chose my purpose. I chose all of that. That's up for debate. Okay? That's up for debate. Because how much would there be to learn if you, in fact, chose it? There will be no need for the Creator if you got to choose your purpose, in my opinion. As I learned and journeyed through all of this, and I converse with other scholars, I find that it is a very popular ideation that we get to choose our purpose, and we get to choose our family, and we get to choose the times that we're born into. But that's very contradictory, right? Because there would be no need to answer the call. You would already have received the call when you got here, and you would just immediately, jump right into it. There would be no layers to shed. There would be no discernment to gain. There would be no levels of understanding to attain to. You would just be here and jump right in it. And for some, that is the case. So, I guess it just depends. But in all reality, yeah, you have to learn. So if you have to learn and you have to be molded into these things, it's kind of contradictory to have come here already knowing. I don't know. That's a whole different topic for a whole different day. Okay? But what I am getting at is that you cannot force yourself onto God. You can't force blessings. You can't force an understanding. You can't force a scenario. You can't force the relationship. Some of us have things that are connected to us, that we were born into via our blood. Some of us have a purpose that has nothing to do with you connecting per se with the Creator. We're all connected to the Creator. When I say connecting with the Creator, I mean building a relationship that is visible to everyone and walking out a purpose that everyone gets to benefit from in some way or another. There are things that need to occur in the underworld in order for you to start moving in a certain fashion. And a lot of people, they are actually afraid, of, building a relationship with God, because they feel that it takes them away from who they are in the world, because they're quote unquote unsure, and it is so much of an unknown, right? You cannot force God to bless you. You cannot even force God to recognize you. All you can do is be in alignment. Being in alignment means getting whatever the Creator has for you. And being obedient to His voice, being patient, being humble, possessing those 7 fruits of the Spirit we talked about, learning to discern, learning the difference between His voice and all others, and actually adhering to that voice, learning to understand that there is a clock or a portal connected to all of our activities individually and collectively, are like the basic steps. You can't go down on your knees and demand you're blessing God with the prayer, and you're demanding that He blesses you, or you're demanding that He shows Himself. There's a timing. This is why a lot of people say God will go quiet on you. This is why people say that, and they know that. This is comparable to that. You can't even demand that God reveals Himself to you through other people. You can't demand anything. Everything has a time connected to it. And I can't stress this enough, because there are a lot of people who don't believe. We talked about atheists and things like that. We talked about people who are definitely God soldiers in their loss. We talked about the lost souls who have never even came into contact with the Creator. And of course, you don't have to believe me, right? This is just something that we can reveal to ourselves, or things that are revealed to us through our own practice, understanding, and ability to, coexist with one another, because these are for the people who don't have those spiritual gifts. This is for the people who God gave gifts, but He didn't activate to use. Your gifts are laying dormant, and it's not meant for you to have that understanding of the Creator and what He wants and what He's doing and what He needs and what He means by blessing you or not blessing you. Sometimes not giving you a certain ability is a blessing within itself. Again, there is a calling. He doesn't have to call everybody. It's over 8 million people in this dimension. Do you actually think He wants to have everyone on a mission for this dimension? Some people are on a mission for other timelines, other realms. We don't get to see all of that. And you don't get to press Him for not making you visible in this timeline, in this dimension. You could be useful for this timeline in another dimension. That's what demons are. And I think that's a whole different conversation, but yeah. All right. I'm going to end it here. I do hope you guys are going to be enjoying your weekend, right? I hope y'all are going to get some rest too. I hope y'all are drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea because it's free. All right. Love y'all. Peace.